Welcome to this session on Transformational Histories, and thank you for sharing your lunch hour with us today. My name is Nancy Cushing. I'd like to start with an acknowledgement of country, and we'll acknowledge the people, the Gadigal clan of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional owners on land that has not been ceded, which are where the History Council's offices sit in the Justice and Police Museum in central Sydney. And I give my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and to those of the lands on which you are today as well. So very warm welcome. This is a long anticipated event because it's been postponed since the 29th of April, when we would have met at the State Library of New South Wales as part of the Sydney Writers' Festival. While the cancellation of the Writers' Festival was one disappointment in several months of disappointment, we are pleased that it means that Christina is able to join us today from her home in the United States, and indeed that all of you in the audience are able to be part of the session as well. So the group that we've gathered today share the honour of having created a work which was rewarded with the New South Wales Premier History Award for 2019. Their pieces are very different: a children's book, a website, and 2 monographs. But they are all engaging and all in their own ways transformational histories. My role as host will be to introduce each author and then to ask them to tell us briefly about their award-winning history. I will then have some questions about their histories and their writing before we wrap up with a short discussion of the impact of winning a Premier's History Award. So on to the introductions. Our first author, in alphabetical order, is Dr. Meredith Lake, whose book, The Bible in Australia, A Cultural History, was the winner of the Australian History Prize and was described by the judges as formidably researched, yet carrying its scholarship with an enviable lightness of touch. This is groundbreaking cultural and social history. Meredith's voice will be known to many of you through the Radio National program Soul Search. And she's the author of 2 other books, The Bible Down Under and Faith in Action. Alison Lloyd is our second author. She's the author of The Upside Down History of Down Under, presented with the Children and Young People's History Prize. The judges said that it is history, post-colonialism and feminism to tell a contemporary story for a diverse nation. The dead white men are put in their place. Alison is the author of 10 books for children and worked on this with illustrator Terry Denton. Professor Lyndall Ryan is my colleague at the University of Newcastle and was a joint winner with a team led by Lorena Allen, who was unable to join us today, of the Digital History Prize for The Killing Times, an interactive map of massacres in Australia between 1788 and 1928. It's described by the judges as harnessing the capacity of interactive technology to open up contested political space of the history wars and show the power of technology to sweep aside national myths to reveal a violent and quotidian world of fatal clashes between Indigenous Australians and settlers. Lyndall has had a long career as an academic historian and most recently published Tasmanian Aborigines, A History Since 1803. And finally, we come to Christina Thompson, who wrote Sea People, The Puzzle of Polynesia, which was awarded the General History Prize and described by the judges as making clear how beautifully complicated and contentious history can be, but also its immense significance for our contemporary world, which is just a beautiful ringing endorsement of the theme that we have for History Week in the History Council this year about history, what is it good for? Her previous book, she is the editor of Harvard Review and publishes essays and criticism. And her previous book, Come on Shore and We Will Kill and Eat You All, a New Zealand story, was shortlisted for several prizes. So we have 4 wonderful authors and 4 brilliant works of history. And I now invite each of them in turn to tell us in 5 minutes or so about your project.